Welcome back to Popcorn, folks. I'm Tim Boehme.
I'm Matt Keeney.
And you're here on a special day. If you're watching this, I assume we're not all living in cardboard boxes and that we still have a stock market, maybe.
And people still have money to pay their charter bills.
People still have money. I'm going to have to ask Jim about that, our economist, later. Like, when should I pull all my money out of the bank, Jim? Anyway, well, Mr. Keeney.
What do we have on the agenda today?
We got a couple of things. We're going to look at some Coen Brothers movies. We're going to have a segment on that, and specifically the new film, Burn After Reading.
And that's with your good buddy...
Brian Peters.
Brian Peters?
Yep.
From the English department?
That's right. And then my other good buddy from the economics department of one, by the way, is Jim Watson. And we're going to look at, a couple of movies. Flannel Pajamas and The Lake House.
The Lake House. With
Guess what, folks?
Keanu Reeves, best actor of all time.
He's so pretty. It's Chick Flick. That's our Chick Flick segment, people. Yeah.
There you go. We've got to get the women involved in this show.
That's right. Come on, ladies.
The ratings between women 18 and 35 have been down.
But at the top, and then we're going to look at some
more PSAs.
Right.
Some classic PSAs about gardening, drunken driving, never do that. But it's just interesting to watch these things, the disconnect, I think, between the cultures then and the cultures now. And and the tagline for this show is pop culture, all things, and sometimes corny. Something like that, right? Yeah. Probably not exact.
Popcorn culture. No, it's we look at all manner of things, pop culture, and sometimes corny.
And these old PSAs definitely fit the corny.
We needed that corn element there. And don't forget, we're going to learn how to, in case a nuclear bomb ever goes off, you thought it was over, people. It's not. We can take care of that. We have a plan for that. But first, let's get to some non-movie culture while we're at it. Have you seen any movies, rented anything lately?
I have. A week or so back, we got Harold and Kumar, Escape from Guantanamo Bay, the sequel to the great Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. I thought it was pretty funny. I think I overheard someone saying that it was basically the same movie, over again. And I mean, I can see the point. They're kind of on another journey. The first movie was a journey to get to White Castle. Now they're basically on a journey to get out of Guantanamo and clear their names. And the only guy that can do that is a buddy of Harold's who is getting married to Kumar's, the love of his life. So they want to go find this wedding and clear their name. And of course, Kumar wants to stop the wedding so he can get his woman back. So. But juvenile humor. But again, that's my thing. So.
Stoner humor. Well, I think go ahead.
Oh, that's about it. I thought it was funny, and although it's not appropriate for kids, and the unrated version definitely wouldn't have made theaters. Let's just say that. So.
I saw, the movie at theaters, and it's like, man, what else could they do on the unrated version? I honestly don't know what's left.
Well, there's a lot of nudity.
Yeah, there was a lot in the R-rated version.
Really? Well, I don't know. Maybe. Because I didn't watch the R-rated, just the unrated.
Okay,
so I don't know the difference.
I will say I like the first one a lot better, but I didn't hate the second one. I just thought, I guess one of those things I always have with sequels is if you can't outdo the first one, why bother? But it was I certainly like that title. I remember when I first saw the trailer and they had that title, I just laughed out loud when I heard that. So
one of the best scenes in that was on the plane in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, right.
He makes some kind of crazy bong device, and they think he's a terrorist. And
yeah, that is good. Yeah.
That's probably one of the best scenes in the movie, I think.
Yeah, good stuff. And I don't know, it was a little over the top, but that cop or whoever, that agent that was investigating was funny at times.
He used to be on The Daily Show. I forget that guy's name. But
Rob Corddry.
Yeah, I mean, he was stupid to the point of being. I mean, it was almost not believable how stupid he was.
Cartoonish,
that he made it that high into a government agency, but I guess actually maybe that is pretty believable these days. Who knows?
Yeah, I haven't heard great things about the old Department of Homeland Security. I don't know if we're more secure. But that reminds me, I actually went to White Castle. I didn't order 100 White Castles like they do in them. I think
4 cherry Cokes.
Yeah, I didn't 4 cherry. I ordered I don't know, but I did order $7 worth, which at White Castle is a bit excessive.
Really? I normally hit the $10 mark.
Really? Oh, wow.
So that's not that bad.
What do you get, 10 of them or something? Or?
Yeah, and then I think a cheese sticks.
Oh, okay.
And then the soda. Yeah. The soda always pushes it up $2 or $3 nowadays.
Soda that's where they get you, man. It's cost them a nickel.
Did you get any of the A1 burgers?
I've tried that. Yeah, I thought it was okay. It wasn't great.
Really?
Yeah.
The one, I mean, I had some and they were really fresh. Like sometimes you get them, maybe
Mm-hmm.
they've been sitting there a while. They were really good because they were hot off the grill. So
The fresher they are, the better. Because
Mm-hmm.
I did have some where I let it sit overnight, and then I reheated it the next day, and it somehow just didn't come out right.
but no matter what, the next day, whether they're fresh or not, you're not going to be feeling good after that.
Anyway, but here's the weird thing. I'm in this long line as usual at White Castle. I get to the front, or get to the cashier or whatever, and she says, "The lady in front of you paid for yours." And I was like, "Huh?" And she said, "The lady in front of you." She just repeated exactly. "The lady in front of you paid for yours." I'm like, this is weird. I'm like, so I go, okay. I just took my White Castle.
There was no explanation?
No explanation. So
I've had that happen once when I was
Really?
behind, but it was a church group in front of me in a drive-thru, and it literally did take 15 to 20 minutes for me to get my food and for the wait they paid for it. And then they had the person hand me a card saying which church it was, which was a very nice gesture.
Yeah.
But that's, I guess, just a generous person. Maybe she had a thing for you.
Well, that's what I was wondering. It's like this is equivalent of like somebody buying you a drink in a bar or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, if so, lady, that email again is popcorndudes@hotmail.com. So
Be sitting in a
Give
White
me a
Castle,
ring.
sending sliders over and winking it.
But yeah, I mean, it was like, it'd be a weird thing to like not, if you were going to do something. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't even I never even pay attention to the car in front of me. So when I was driving away, I'm like, so who was it? I never even saw her or saw
Oh, you were in the drive-thru.
Drive-thru,
okay,
right,
I
yeah.
thought maybe you were inside. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I got to admit, when I was that happened to me, I was getting pretty agitated. And then
Yeah.
I felt like a jerk after they paid for my
So they
meal
were
and all
like,
that. So
we can't let this guy hate our church.
Yeah, right.
We got to make Jesus look good. Well, folks, I think I got a couple of things we should discuss here. What do you think about Billy Joel?
I like him.
Okay, that's my surprise topic of the day.
I love his, I think he's got, I went and saw him in concert a few years ago, and every song I mean, which is great when you go to a show. I mean, everything's a hit.
Yeah.
He's a
That's
big
cool.
Barack Obama supporter, I guess.
Is he?
Yeah, well, he and Springsteen are putting on a big concert for
okay.
Obama. But
I heard he's like really gets behind New Jersey fishermen. That's like a weird, specific thing to be. Like some guy died recently, a fisherman, and he like paid for his funeral and everything. I guess
Really?
they found his body near Joel's mansion or whatever. I'm like, I think it's a cover-up. No, I mean, no, I think he just because he apparently had supported. Maybe he's got like a song about New Jersey fishermen or something. I don't know. Whatever. That's nothing. But I don't. People I know, friends of mine, have always like made fun of Billy Joel. I'm like, you don't know nothing.
I think Billy Joel with Stormfront, that was one of the first tapes I ever had. We didn't
Really?
start the fire.
Oh, yeah.
I love that
They
song.
make fun of that song in particular. I admit that some of the things seem a little random in that song, but I think it's a cool song.
I think you should go back and rewrite some verses like from the 90s and now, like put it continue it on for years and years.
Yeah, right. Just make a new version of it every year or something. So the other, and then again, I had my book of the tape book on tape recommendation of the week.
Who buys these anymore?
I know.
Only you.
I'm still Arnold Library. They like to phase them out to be like, dang it, somebody still keeps checking them out. We got to keep them in stock. But yeah, The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. I didn't bring it with me, but if you're ever interested in a Stephen King book that's not like 300 or 400 pages long, I think it's only like 200, 250. You want a short one? That's
Tom Gordon, the former Philadelphia Phillies closer.
he used to be on apparently used to be on the Sox too, the Red Sox, because that's what.
Yeah,
It's
and he's played for a bunch of teams. He's
Yeah,
old.
it's set in 1998, and at that time he was with the Red Sox.
See, we're talking sports, politics, pop
We're
culture.
covering it all. The
This
end
is
of the
great.
world, the financial crisis. We'll get to Jim with that later. Anyway, folks, we got a lot of show for you today, so stick around, and when we come back, you'll see something. I'm not sure what it is, but it'll be exciting. Bye-bye now. Welcome back, folks, to the ever-present popcorn. With me today is a special guest, Brian Peters, recently from what, Kentucky?
All over the place.
All over the place.
Indiana
Wow.
was the last place. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
New faculty here and a massive movie fan, a cineast.
Cineast? I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, cineast, but some say cineass.
Okay.
Just anxious to get busy with as much film as we can.
With the culture.
Yeah, with the culture.
Well, we got a couple of firsts on this segment. For one, it's like the first time we've actually talked about a movie that we don't really recommend, at least not at the theater. So that'll be cool. And then we actually saw this movie together. We're like the Ebert and Roper back in the day. They used to watch movies together. Of course, I think they sat separately. I don't know why they didn't like each other.
No, they didn't like each other at all, actually. But I like you a lot.
I like you, but I don't like this movie. And why is that? Why don't we like this movie?
For starters, the movie simply doesn't engage the audience at all.
Yeah.
We talked about this about 30 minutes in. We realized this was not going to be a laugher, and we decided we would start to look for clues as to what
Why are we watching?
the Coen brothers what they were trying to do. So really, it's just a very cold movie. They don't seem to care about their characters at all, which leaves us in a position of not knowing what we should care about.
Right.
So yeah, it's a very strangely icy movie.
Yeah. Well, you hit the two main things that I thought about. It's a comedy, and if the comedy's not funny, you just screwed it up there. I don't care what else you're trying to do, you messed up. And then, the not caring about characters. I mean, because I was comparing this, we're going to look at the Big Lebowski in a little bit, and I was thinking, I do care about these characters. I mean, maybe it's not like I don't quite as much as if I'm watching Schindler's List or something, but
right.
I mean, the dude is a likable guy or whatever, and his buddies are likable too. So
I even want to get to know the Jesus, but more in the Lebowski, but not.
Yeah, or the guy what's the guy who's like a theater guy who's in the theater, his landlord or something like that. They give you these little bits of people. Even how about the little kid who stole the car? I mean,
Totally.
But yeah, all these characters, they just don't. In Burn After Reading, and by the way, Rotten Tomatoes is ridiculous. Or like 73, 77, something.
Yeah, I did a follow-up on that. On Rotten Tomatoes, a number of critics across the world gave it a good review, but the top critics gave it like a 54, which is, I think, where we're sort of sitting
That's
with
important. Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to click that top critics thing, because every bonehead critic out there they can find, scrape off the internet and go, do you like it? Okay, yeah. But I did that once on a movie. I couldn't believe it got such great reviews, and then I clicked the top critics, and all of those were like, almost all didn't like it. I was like, oh, okay, that's how you got to look at this. So.
Not that we have to align with those guys. But
no,
it makes
but
a
I mean,
difference,
let's have some sanity as to how this whole process works and figure this. But yeah, anyway, for those of you who don't know, Rotten Tomatoes is like an excellent site just to see what we were talking about. There is that apparently like 70, somewhere in the 70s of critics, 70%, it's like approval rating, liked it, and if you get 60% or higher, it's called a fresh rating. Fresh, not rotten. So they really should call it rotten and fresh tomatoes, but that'd be too long.
Yeah.
Anywho, let's go to two anyway. Actually, before we get to that, since that was a Coen Brothers movie, and by the way, that you got to admit that's one of those things where it's the Coen Brothers. So,
you have to go.
Certain percentage are going to say we have to go, and then a certain percentage of critics are going to say they like it because it's the Coen Brothers. I thought we'd just quickly go over their oeuvre here.
Okay.
Just yay or nay, like it, don't like it. So first one, Blood Simple.
Must see.
Must see, pretty
Must
good,
see.
huh?
First film.
I don't know if I ever watched that all the way through. I'll have to check that out. Raising Arizona.
Without a doubt, top 3 for me.
Top 3? Whoa, I might have to watch that again too. I remember liking it at the time, then I saw it again later. It's like, I don't know. But I've heard a lot of people quote lines from that. Miller's Crossing.
Miller's Crossing, a solid movie.
Solid?
Good blood.
Bit of a departure.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
particularly from Raising Arizona.
Right. Yeah. Barton Fink.
Pretty cool movie. A little flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only see it because you want to see it on an early Coen Brothers.
I just scratched my head on that one. I was like, what? And I heard it was supposed to be based on Faulkner's experience of coming to Hollywood or something like that.
Possibly, I'm not sure, but it's a little flat.
That one didn't do it for me. Oh, this one I definitely haven't seen, The Hudsucker Proxy. I guess that was a flop, wasn't it?
The same, yeah. It was
flat.
Worse. Yeah.
Worse. Okay. Fargo. Well, we know you like that.
Yeah, I'm going to show a clip from Fargo.
Okay, yeah, that rocks.
I think
obviously.
I think it is as good as people have said it is.
Oh, yeah. The Big Lebowski.
Without a doubt. Number one for me.
That's number one. Hey, we got total agreement on that one. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
Great movie. Got to
Great,
see it.
yeah.
Soundtrack probably is even better than the film.
Yeah, the soundtrack is awesome. That's in my top 3. The Man Who Wasn't There. Uh-oh.
That's the film noir.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Billy Bob.
With Billy Bob. And it was pretty cool, but not stellar.
Yeah, that was one of those. It was like the ending to Lord of the Rings. It's like, how many endings can you actually pile on to one movie? Just end it at some point. And
it's like they were just trying to do a film noir, just to say they've done it.
Right.
Whatever.
Well, they did it.
They did it.
And I like the black and white, but you should try that every once in a while. Most people flop who do that, though. It's like, oh well. Intolerable Cruelty.
Lame.
Yeah, that's like the description of what they did to us when you watch that movie. Same way with Lady Killers.
Lady Killers, the worst by far of all.
How did they hit 2 total flops in a row?
Yeah.
But anyway, Tom Hanks. Paris Je T'aime. Did you ever see that little bit? Did you like that? So I didn't really like the whole thing overall.
I didn't think it was good.
Yeah.
A couple of the vignettes were solid, but not much.
No Country for Old Men.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
This is so beautiful.
I even loved the final scene. Yeah. I loved the
Did
whole
we
thing.
do that? That movie came out this year, right? No, last
year.
So that was I think I said that as my number 1 movie last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the number 1 movie, and it won the Oscar, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, way to go. And then finally, Burn After Reading, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Actually, on Burn After Reading, I think we both agree. Yeah, it's a Coen Brothers movie, so rent it, but you don't need to rush out.
Don't pay full price. In fact, get it from your library for free.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to call this segment the Dollar Show Review. Because by the time, so let's see a little graphic on that. Because by the time this thing airs, I mean, people, if it's still at Ronnie's, don't go pay $9.
No.
Wait 2 more weeks and it'll be at the Dollar Show. Although there really is no such thing as a Dollar Show anymore.
I doubt it. But I do like the public library checkout.
Oh yeah,
show
yeah.
For
There you
free.
go. That is cool, especially for books on tape. So anyway, but yeah, Dollar Show. Oh wait a minute, no, we're calling it Director Cuts. New graphic, please. Not director's cut, director cuts. I was thinking. So my cuts today are going to be from, again, Coen Brothers movie, The Big Lebowski. And you know what? Frankly, I was like trying to think of what do I say about Lebowski. I think I could do like a pop culture analysis of it, but that doesn't lend itself to this show necessarily. One thing, it's funny. It's and it's got one of those. What you need for a classic comedy is to have lots of lines that people can go repeat to each other later, and there's just tons of those lines in the movie. And then it's also, I guess, based on Raymond Chandler. Is it based on The Big Sleep or something?
Okay.
I haven't really read a lot of noir novels, but somebody told me that it was sort of
I've
like
read zero.
Yeah, it's sort of a riff on that idea of like he's a PI, but he's not really like the hard-boiled type. He's the stoner type. So apparently there's all these parallels with The Big Sleep, where they're kind of like they do with in Oh Brother, We're Out There. They have the parallels to the Odyssey and everything.
Right.
So it's got a little bit of texture to it. You got to have that. And what else? Well, it's got bowling in it, so you got me. You sold me at bowling. I got to get you into that bowling culture and everything. And gotta love it. Well, anyway, let's take a look at this first clip here. This is just where the little Lebowski, or the dude, meets the big Lebowski. And I won't go into the whole plot, but the very simple plot is that somebody pees on his rug. That's how the whole thing gets started. And he finds out that the people who peed on his rug were doing it they were trying to recover some debt from the big Lebowski's wife. And so he decides, hey, this is the guy that should compensate me for my ride. So let's take a look at this initial meeting here.
Little Lebowski, the logician.
That's right.
This is a study. As you can see, the various commendations, awards,
Jeffrey
citations, honorary degrees, etc.
Very impressive.
Oh, please feel free to inspect them.
Oh, no, I'm not really...
Oh, please, please. That is the key to the city of Pasadena, which Mr. Lebowski received 2 years ago in recognition of his various civic, That's the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce Business Achiever Award, which is given, well, not necessarily given every year, given only when there's a worthy somebody.
Is this him with Nancy?
Yes, indeed. That is Mr. Lebowski with the First Lady, yes. It was taken when Mrs.
That's
Reagan...
Lebowski on the left there?
Yeah, of course, Mr. Lebowski on the left.
So he's a handicapped guy?
Mr. Lebowski is disabled, yes. This picture was taken when Mrs. Reagan was First Lady of the nation. Yes, yes. Not of California.
Chuck?
In fact, he met privately with the president, though unfortunately there wasn't enough time for a photo opportunity.
Oh, Nancy's pretty good.
Oh, wonderful woman. We were very happy to...
These are,
Oh, those are Mr. Lebowski's children,
different
so to
mothers,
speak.
huh?
No, they're not.
racially, he's pretty cool.
They're not literally his children. They're the little Lebowski urban achievers, inner city children of promise, but without the necessary means for a higher education. So Mr. Lebowski is committed to sending all of them to college. Excuse me.
Geez.
Thank you. Thank you.
Far out. Think he's got room for one more?
Oh. You never went to college. Please, don't touch that.
I did, but, I spent most of my time occupying various administration buildings, smoking a lot of Thai steaks, breaking into the ROTC, bowling. Tell you the truth, Brent, I don't remember most of it.
Oh.
Okay, sir, you're a Lebowski, I'm a Lebowski. That's terrific. But I am very busy, as I imagine you are. What can I do for you, sir?
Well, sir, it's this rug I have. It really tied the room together.
You told Brant on the phone, he told me. Where do I fit in?
Well, they were looking for you, these two guys.
I'll say it again. You told Brant on the phone, he told me. I know what happened, yes, yes?
Oh, so you know that they were trying to piss on your rug?
Did I urinate on your rug?
You mean, did you personally come and pee on my rug?
Hello? Do you speak English, sir? Parla usted inglés? I'll ask you again. Did I urinate on your rug?
No, like I said, woo peed on my rug.
I just want to understand this, sir. Every time a rug is micturated upon in this fair city, I have to compensate the person.
Come on, man. I'm not trying to scam anybody here. I'm just,
You're just looking for a handout like every other... Are you employed, Mr. Lebowski?
Well, wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, that or his dudeness or duder or, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Are you employed, sir?
Employed?
You don't go out looking for a job dressed like that, do you? On a weekday?
What day is this?
Well, I do work, sir. So if you don't mind...
No, I do mind. The dude minds. This will not stand, This aggression will not stand, man. I mean, your wife owes
My
money...
wife is not the issue here.
Oh, yeah. The Big Lebowski's pretty funny.
It's hilarious.
I mean, the character is just... I could add more of that character in the movie, too.
I'm totally. His face alone. What he does with his face is a miracle.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines about you don't go out like that on just for a job, do you? And on a weekday, and he's like, is this what day is this? So yeah, like I said, the lines you can quote, and that first part was with Brant, where he's talking about the little Lebowski urban achievers, just like that name. I mean, it's so perfect, man. So one thing I was, again, some people have compared The Big Lebowski to Burn After Reading. They were trying to say, oh, this is one of those that you might not like it right away, but it kind of grows on you and that kind of thing. And I did. The first time I saw Lebowski, I had kind of I laughed, appropriate amount of time for a comedy, so I thought, yeah, I recommend this, but I was just not sure, what did is this really that good? Somebody told me, a couple of years later, watch it again. And that somehow, that second time, I don't know if did you get hooked on it right away? Immediately, wow, okay. Yeah. Maybe it's just a frame of mind with certain comedies that you're in when you see it, but now it's just, I worship it, so. But the one thing that I do think is, I've noticed as a signature kind of move for the Coen brothers with their dialogue, is that they like to have characters repeat certain. I mean, that's a standard dialogue technique, is to have repetition. But I think the difference for me, in some of their characters, it's just like some of their movies, one character says the same line each time, or roughly the same line each time. I don't remember if in Lady Killers, he had the guy that he kept having to talk over and over again about his IBS, his irritable bowel syndrome.
Yes.
They're like, isn't irritable bowel syndrome hilarious?
Yeah.
Let's just have a character mention that over
Over
and
and
over.
over.
And with like Burn After Reading, they had the character who talked about, working at hard bodies, this behavior is not, representative of hard bodies. And it sort of paid off at that one crucial moment, but it was like, by the way, I got to backtrack a little bit. We actually forgot to mention the best thing about Burn After Reading.
The best thing?
Yeah. The one good thing.
The gun?
Brad Pitt getting shot
Yes,
in
in
the
the
face. Oh, spoiler alert, people. Sorry.
Oops.
Yeah, it did have one good thing. Brad Pitt got shot in the face.
Oh,
Anyway.
mercy. It was gruesome.
Yeah, it was just like whammo, like
Up
big
close and
blood
personal.
spatter all over. I will give this props to Brad Pitt for like messing himself up
Oh,
in
without a
movies,
doubt.
in like Fight Club, and like even in that dopey movie with the Robert Redford, that like action movie. I really messed him up in that
Yeah.
movie. He must like hate himself. So that's good.
But when you love yourself that much, you can take your liberties with your
That's
face.
right. That's right. Tom Cruise does that too sometimes. Anyway, back to Lebowski. There's lots of repetitious dialogue in here. There's I don't know if I could repeat most of it, but I'm trying to think. What's that line he says? In that clip we just had, this aggression will not stand. I mean,
Right.
but the thing is, it's not like he's taking. It's like not just the same character saying the dialogue. It's like different characters sort of borrow phrases from other people. Like they hear somebody say something, and like he hears Bush Senior on the TV at the beginning saying, "This aggression will not stand," and so that just is something. It's like it's sort of making a point, I guess, more about how these different phrases that we have are kind of floating around in the culture, and the dude in particular like adopts certain phrases people say in any situation. It's like he's I don't know.
Without a great deal of thought.
Exactly. Like and it's like they have like weird thing like debating like who's your special lady friend, or the guy says something similar with little bad lingo in there, and it's sort of like, no, she's not. It just it's like an obsession over language, that coitus versus what it was. I can't remember what the other terms. Calling some what.
I don't remember. I can't get it.
Or is it money? Is it bones? Or I don't know. There's just a lot of language play. Anyway, in this next clip we're going to look at, there's a kind of a tie-in with the first clip that, once again, it's a reference to the dude is a real slacker, and there's a good payoff with that. He's also been employed eventually by Big Lebowski to try to carry out this, to drop off a ransom demand, but he doesn't actually drop it off. So that's a problem. And then the car gets stolen that had the ransom money in it. So obviously he's upset that he lost his car, but he's more upset that the ransom money got stolen. So, and it's in a briefcase, by the way. So let's take a look at this clip. He's talking to some police officers.
Green, some brown rust coloration.
And was there anything of value in the car?
Oh, tape deck, some Creedence tapes, and there was my briefcase.
In the briefcase?
Papers, just papers, my papers, business papers.
And what do you do, sir?
I'm unemployed. My rug was also stolen.
Your rug was in the car.
No, here.
Separate incidents.
The dude is not in.
Do you find in much these stolen cars?
Takes a minute.
Sometimes. Wouldn't hold out much hope for the tape deck, though.
Or the Creedence.
Well, what about the briefcase?
Mr. Lebowski, I'd like to see you. Call when you get home and I'll send a car for you. My name is Maud Lebowski. I'm the woman who took your rug.
Well, guess we can close the file on that one.
Well, it's funny. One time I was, my brother was at applying for a loan. No, it wasn't applying for a loan. He was going to open a bank account. And of course, these days when you open a bank account, they got to like run a whole credit check and all this stuff on you. And he didn't have a job at the time. And so while she was going to run the credit check on, I told this story about, I told him, remember that part in The Big Lebowski where he says, yeah, I got this briefcase with my papers, my business papers. And they go, what do you do, sir? I'm unemployed. And he just started busting up laughing.
No loan for you.
Yeah, no loan for you. Yeah, you're a crazy person. Laughing in a bank. You can't laugh in a bank these days. Anywho, I don't know if there's much more to say about it. It's funny, people. You should rent it. You should watch it. And my dad saw it the other night. He's like, But I'm gonna say 2 years from now, I'm gonna say, Dad, watch it again. Come on. I felt the same way. I guess, we feel somewhat obligated on the show to mention that if you don't like the cursing, this is definitely not your... This is like watching an episode of Deadwood in terms of the amount of cursing, at least from the Walter Sobchak character.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the movie that I'm going to preview too, you'll need to watch out for the curse words and quite a few of the Coen brothers.
And some
gore.
little violence in that one
gore.
too. So. Yeah, we're going to take a look at Fargo in a little bit, but right now we're going to take a little break. Be back in a bit.
Jeffco Soccer.
Dominant.
Confident.
Determined.
Jeffco Soccer, where excellence is a part of a winning tradition.
Welcome back. I'm Brian. This is Tim. We are the Popcorn people
Dudes.
today.
Yeah.
I'm just a guest. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
You can email us at popcorndudes.com.
At hotmail.com.
Popcorndudes@hotmail.com.
There you go.
We'd love to hear from you.
Although you could send it to the other one too. It doesn't really matter.
Maybe that's where they're all going.
Yeah, we're getting
hundreds at .com. I'm going to show a clip now from the Coen Brothers movie Fargo. It won an Academy Award in '97, I believe. It won 2 Academy Awards for screenplay and for Best Actress. What I'm going to show you now is a clip that resembles a scene from Burn After Reading. I like this clip because there's another headshot, but this was one of the earlier Coen Brothers movies, so they shot a nobody. In Burn After Reading, of course, we get to shoot Brad Pitt's face.
That's right, yeah.
So I guess I'll talk a little bit about what's going on with the scene afterwards, but all you need to know now is that we get some blood.
All right, it's just the tags. I never put my tags on the car. All right, don't worry, I'll take care of this. All right, just keep it still back there, lady, or else we're gonna have to, to shoot you. Hey, I'll take care of this. How can I help you, officer?
Is the new car done, sir?
Oh, it certainly is, officer. Still got that smell.
You're required to display temporary tags, either in the plate area or taped to the inside of the back window.
Certainly.
Can I see your license and registration, please?
Certainly. Yeah, I was gonna tape up the tag, you know, to be in full compliance, but must have slipped my mind. So maybe the best thing to do would be to take care of that right here in Brainerd.
What's this, sir?
My license and registration. Yeah, I want to be in compliance. I was just thinking we could take care of it right here in Brainerd.
Put that back in your pocket, please. And step out of the car, please, sir.
Come on! Shut the f*** up!
Whoa. Whoa, Daddy. You'll take care of it. You're smooth, you know. Oh, Daddy. Just clear him off the road. Yeah.
Oh, Daddy.
Man, we had like a headshot last. They've always been brutal. Last time was like a little kid getting shot in a movie in Bruges. You know?
Oh,
It's
exactly.
Like,
yeah, in Bruges.
We should ease off next time on the headshot.
Next time, right?
Okay.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
In this clip, it's the reason I want to show it is because I think for me it demonstrates the Coen brothers' sort of sense of humor in many ways. They'll show you a very realistic and graphic moment of violence, but then they'll sort of downplay that moment and give you some comedy to back it up. And not all the time, but in many ways, in many cases, they do that. So instead of focusing on the violence itself, they're focusing on Buscemi's face with the blood, and then of course Buscemi delivers his lines, "Oh, Daddy." But the tone of the entire piece, for me, sort of sums up Fargo. So it's so understated and minimal, and there's so much realism to it. The accents, the dialect, all these things add up for me, including, of course, this face shot. There's a great deal more death in Fargo, for sure, if you watch the rest of the film. But I like it particularly for this week because it resembles Brad Pitt's face blown up.
I don't remember. Was there anybody's face getting blown off in No Country for Old Men? I mean, there was some people dying. That's for
definitely
sure.
some folks dying, no doubt.
that hotel scene. He's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting thing. We usually don't get into like moral judgments about the use of violence in films on this show, but what the hey, let's do it. Okay. No, but I mean, it's an interesting question of because I've heard people go off on Pulp Fiction for that scene where the guy's head gets blown off, because the very thing they object to is that it's played for laughs. Although in that one, it's much more than this. I mean, it's like watching like the Roadrunner or something, you know, Coyote getting his head blown off or something. But they say that's worse. That's sort of like really deadening you to violence or whatever. Do you think that? I mean, I thought Fargo had to me, with the Frances McDormand character, at least has a moral center to it.
Without a doubt.
So, do you think that
there's definitely judgment placed onto the killers of this movie?
But you think the comedy is used more as sort of a pressure valve or something like, so that the violence doesn't seem too grim or something?
Maybe. I just think they like to use it because they're very true, I think, to their characters.
Okay. So a comedic moment can happen right after.
Exactly, because if you follow the Coen brothers at all, you know, they write together, they direct together. I mean, you know, one or the other will take the credit, but they do everything together. And they're really interested in language, wordplay, and things like this. But they're also very committed to their characters, which is why I love them so much. So they allow the characters to a sort of space to be real.
Right.
So in these moments, we see that, you know, he is a cold-blooded killer, and Buscemi maybe isn't that guy. He doesn't want to be that guy. He just wants the money and wants to get off scot-free. And it sort of frightens him when we see that. And all he knows how to do is react with humor, which gives me a little bit of reality, I think, too.
The other thing, I think that what you say about they're totally true to their characters, or they have some, you know, they want to create the reality of the characters. It's true with their serious films. It's like there's some kind of, you know, bifurcated, you know, brain here going on where there's serious films, they usually never misfire. I mean, well, you know, again, like Bart and Fink, I wasn't thrilled with that. But when they deal with this, like, really grim subject matter, it seems like that's where they get everything right. Again, I've heard good stuff about Miller's Crossing, and like I said, No Country for Old Men was the ultimate. So I just wonder what that is about when they go to comedy sometimes. They sometimes reduce these, they just do caricatures, or they do, like, again,
parodies.
So I don't know, maybe they just think, well, comedy's different and we've got to, but I think when they take what they learned about drama and they apply it to some of their comedies, that they come out much funnier. So come on, Coen brothers, learn your lessons here. No more crappy burn after reading type movies. Well, folks, we got a lot more shows. So next we're going to look at some DVD picks with Jim Watson and myself. So come on back for more.
You may not know their names, but the students who are helped through a Jefferson College Foundation scholarship carry thanks in their hearts. It's for the kindness that our contributors have shown. Make a difference in their tomorrows.
Education, the great equalizer. It doesn't just mean you get more knowledge, it means you improve your quality of life.
Give to the Jefferson College Foundation today.
And we're back. Well, he's back, folks. The mighty Watson, I presume.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
That's right. So, Jim, got a special. We do these little thematic segments. I know you're big on that more than Scott. Scott was like, I'm going to rent whatever movie I want and screw you. But but now we're doing thematic stuff here. So what are we going to?
Well, the last time we did gangster movies. So, you know, I figured why not look at the other end of the spectrum? Why not have a chick flick, or at least what we perceive as chick flicks, but ones that we like, or in some cases, well, ones that at least one of us likes. So that's the idea.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in a little, our little disagreement, but we're gonna. And I gotta admit, chick flicks not normally my thing. Are they normally your thing?
I like almost all kinds of movies if
Really?
it's done well, right?
Do you go see like movies by Julia Roberts or?
It depends on what's. Not all of hers are chick flicks. I mean, Erin Brockovich probably wasn't a chick flick. It was.
No, that was
Yeah. So.
Her more serious ones I like, but like Notting Hill and blah blah blah. I mean, actually, I liked My Best Friend's Wedding. That was, but the problem I have normally.
I'm a big fan of old movies from the 1930s, and a lot of those are classic comedy movies, and some of them are romantic comedies, and there's. And some of them aren't even comedies. So sometimes I like those types of movies, and so my mom and I used to watch a lot of those together. So if you want to, I guess you could go back and call those chick flicks. My favorite chick flick of all time, which I couldn't dig a DVD up for, is called Random Harvest, which is with Greer Garson and Walter Pidgeon, and is a too hanky movie. And normally I avoid that type of thing, but that one is just so good. It's really one of my favorites of all time.
I don't know. I give a little more slack to the older movies too. I don't know if they just had a more less formulaic or more adult sensibility or something, but I don't know. But nowadays it just seems like every romantic comedy, most of the surprise is taken out of it. It's just like they're gonna get together eventually, but they got to go through these series of bicker over usually pretty petty stuff. So normally I'm not really a fan if that's what you consider a chick flick. However, I do like movies that have maybe take some of the comedy out, or maybe in my case of my movie I'm going to talk about today, all of the comedy. Just when they deal with, I've always thought it'd be interesting to see, like, they have TV shows where they have a romantic relationship, but it very rarely do you see an extended version of that, right? You see they get together, but then they don't know what to do, so they eventually have them break up or something.
The movie you pick is definitely a relationship movie.
Right.
So if that's how one defines a chick flick, that there's certainly, it's all about that. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
We both agree on that.
It's about but it is a relationship movie with an unfortunate title. It's called Flannel Pajamas, and like I said, titles are getting so random or so minimal or whatever you want to call it these days that I'm waiting for just a movie called Fingernail. I mean, that's when there's a movie called Fingernail, we've run out of ideas for titles. So Flannel Pajamas, just some ordinary, boring thing. I guess in some ways maybe the ordinariness of flannel as a material is meant to suggest something about how this is ordinary life or something like that. And whatever.
There was a line in the movie about flannel pajamas, so maybe it fits. I mean, sometimes album titles are called that from a line in a song. So
no, I get that.
It works.
It just seems like, to me, like I think, like, you hear something like Steel Magnolias. That's a good chick flick, and it's like, okay, I get it. The women in that movie are flowers, but they have steel, right? But flannel, I'm like, what's that a metaphor for? Anyway, so. It's not a romantic comedy. It's more of a romance. And if you want a movie that it's all about, my take on this is that most romantic comedies end with, like, after all these series of, like, we just get to know each other, we love each other, we hate each other, blah, blah, it's like, now we're going to be together happily ever after. But that's really the beginning of the relationship, and they've decided to be together. Well, this movie actually begins with them deciding, we love each other, or love at first sight kind of thing. And then it's like, what happens after that? So here's one thing that happens. They go and Stuart goes and visits Nicole's apartment and sees that she's not living in the most ideal surroundings there. So let's check this out.
Okay.
Uh-huh. This one of your mom's?
Yes.
It's beautiful. All right. Where's the bathroom?
It's in the hall.
In the hall?
Yes.
Of this building?
Come on.
You share a common bathroom with neighbors?
So that's it? You want to leave?
No, it's not that.
Great.
It's just, you wouldn't happen to have a pair of pajamas.
For a long time, my dad bought me a pair of flannel pajamas every Christmas. Someone he knew told him girls like flannel, and I guess no one's told him girls like anything else since.
You don't wear pajamas?
I guess no one's told him that either.
What did your real dad do for a living?
Well, to support his family, he managed a slaughterhouse. And to avoid his family, he drove a taxi at night, mostly drunk jocks too buzzed to drive themselves home.
Did you used to wear these when they were new? To sleep? To breakfast? When you were young?
I'm really, really worried about that. I don't remember. I really don't remember. I was 7, 8, 9 years old, and I don't remember. You should be able to remember things that happen when you're 8 years old. You should know it might run in my family, Alzheimer's. I think my mom's showing signs of Alzheimer's, and I'm
gonna take your clothes off now.
Dun, dun, dun. Well,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
It's real life, people.
Yes.
Hey, by the way, one thing, speaking of real life, one thing I always appreciate, and one thing this movie does, is, and I don't know if they do this more than once, but I know at least one case where they used a real phone number, none of this 555 crapola. And you know why they use the 555, right?
No.
Oh, yeah. Most movies you watch, there's going to be, they can use regular area codes, but then they put 555, and then they can use regular numbers for that. But the reason they put that 555 in there is because idiots watch these movies and then call the numbers. If they used to do that, they used to call the numbers, and then you get, if you used a real number in the phone book or somewhere, some guy gets like 1,000 calls when somebody rents When Harry Met Sally or something like that. So most people, and it takes you out, and you know you're watching a movie in most cases because you're going to see that 555, which does not occur for any other numbers in real life. But people who want to spend a few bucks just actually buy a phone number, or they use their own home, director uses his own home phone number or something. I don't know how they do it, but they spend the money. And this is a little independent film, so it can't be that ridiculous. I've heard of like 24, they use real numbers on their show, and but they create a charity. So when people call in, they get some kind of message about how donate to this or that. So come on, people, spend a few bucks. Quit taking us out of the reality of the movies. Anyway.
Well, that's
My little
appropriate
rant
because
for the day.
if there's one thing to say about this movie, it is realistic.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I would say painfully
Painful.
so.
Uh-oh. Jim doesn't like this movie.
I tell
sense.
you, half hour into this movie, I was looking at my watch, looking at the time, sort of the way some of my students do with the class, and they're bored and their heads turned back. And I mean, I was ready, and I was thinking, well, when is something going to happen, and when is there going to be a laugh? And I'm glad I didn't hold my breath.
There was some nudity, though.
There was nudity, but it certainly wasn't titillating or any. It was that was realistic and sort of as
almost uncomfortable. Yeah.
Pedestrian.
Yeah.
Just not uncomfortable, but it was not. It wasn't a big deal. It was just sort of.
Well, parts were uncomfortable. There was. Let's just put it this way: there's a little more body hair than you're used to seeing on both the individuals involved. This wasn't Cinemax, people.
Yeah, they weren't trying to doll it up or make it. It was just sort of out there, and there you have it.
Yeah. Well, and I got to say, I'm glad you. I think normally I'm giving an unqualified rave to the movies I recommend on this show. This one, I got to say, I think your view would be the view of most people who saw the movie, maybe men and women. I just don't know. Even though I think we agree it's a chick flick. I don't know if most women would necessarily go for this, but maybe. I don't know.
Granted, it is about relationships. I will give you that.
Yeah.
It's just that I can go home and get that.
Right. Yeah. And most, when you think of most, the thing I object to with most romantic comedies is that it's more like totally escape. It's like reading a romance novel. I do think. Probably, again, generalizing horribly here, but I think most women that go to see a so-called chick flick want to maybe escape reality a bit, and they want to see the guy that looks like Fabio, they imagine themselves in his arms or something like that, but whatever. So it is kind of, I'd call it pretty naturalistic realism, and maybe painful realism. But speaking of painful realism, they also acknowledge that some of the difficulties of the relationship don't just involve the two people in love with each other, but their family members. And in this particular clip, we have a big, the one probably big dramatic thing that happens in the movie.
After a while, you were waiting and waiting and waiting.
And even then, it happens off screen. But anyway, let's take a look at this dramatic development in flannel pajamas.
Don't you have any friends outside of Cray, outside of work?
I used to have quite a few female friends.
Stuart, there are over 400 apartments in this building, and we don't know a single soul. 1,000 people, 60,000 cockroaches. That's it. We're gonna make friends tonight. We've lived in this building for over a year, and I bet you haven't even said hello to our next-door neighbors yet, have you?
Nobody says hello to their next-door neighbor. This is New York.
Yeah, right. What happened to Mr. Nonconformist? Open your mind. Open your heart. Think funny. Whatever it takes. Come on.
Okay, it's gonna be a disaster.
Ugh.
But You had fun, though, right?
Oh,
Tomorrow we meet the 35th floor.
Hello? Hi, Dad. Yeah, he's right here. It's your dad.
Hey.
Jordan shot himself. He was watching an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. I guess he couldn't figure out why everybody would love Raymond. He shot himself and he's dead. The note he left read, "I'm not going to follow you. You're going to follow me."
Okay. That's not a bad suicide note, by the way. That whole.
Okay, I'll give you that. As suicide notes go, right.
I will not follow you. You will follow me. That was this. Yeah. And then I did think. I don't know. I can't remember if I certainly didn't laugh out loud, but I think I might have chuckled when he said the thing about apparently he was watching Everybody Loves Raymond. He couldn't decide why everybody loved Raymond, so he killed himself. I mean, a little bit of.
But this is the one dramatic part of the whole movie,
right?
And I waited and waited and waited for it, and yet he takes it remarkably well. It seems, all things considered.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been a total deal breaker.
Yeah.
And on her side, the objection she had, she would have said, you're a control freak, or at least we don't agree on children or dogs or things like that.
Yeah.
But this is the one
By the
scene.
way, we should explain that that's his brother. I don't think I established
Right.
that. Jordan's his brother, so yeah.
The one thing that I wish they would have done, which I think would have made it much more interesting, is that at the very first scene, and you have to watch the director's cut and his commentaries, and I watched part of it.
Right.
So I subjected myself to it 1.5 times,
you really
not
gave
one
one
time.
for the show here.
I know. I just gave one for the team. But I thought at first they met on a blind date, and I was under the impression that their psychologist or psychiatrist, either one or the other, was the one that got them together, which seemed very inappropriate. And the doctor said, well, this is kind of inappropriate, but I'm doing it anyway. Well, it turns out that it's a dermatologist.
Right. She says, I don't usually set my patients up, but I made an exception in this case. And then they have some conversation later. We're like, why were you seeing the doctor so-and-so? I don't know. Why were you? Oh, well, I guess it's not important now.
And the
makes you think it was something like a
And the
shrink.
director's cut said, 60% of the people think it's a psychiatrist. And that would have been very interesting. Why would a psychiatrist put those two people together?
Right.
That might have been a bit something else that would have been of interest, but it's a dermatologist. So, I mean,
Normally, I don't get together my patients with skin diseases, but I figured you two have the same
But
skin
psychologically,
disease.
why are they matched? Now that might have been of interest, but there wasn't even that. So, okay.
Would have been great if it was like some doctor that deals with like sexually transmitted diseases. Well, you both got herpes. So
Or maybe there was an experiment, and they were saying, okay, here we have these two whacked out people who have real problems, and what would happen if I put the two together? Like, it would be the equivalent in economics, since I'm an economics professor, is, well, what if we just didn't pass this bailout bill, and let's see what would happen if we had another depression, and we could develop some papers from it, and we could have talks, and economists would love it, and we could, generate all kinds of fun scenarios, and we could study it and measure it. It would be fun.
We could see what it'd be like to be in soup lines.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Right. The country would go to hell in a handbasket. Students would lose their student loans, and but anyway.
We're gonna learn how to build our own gardens later, so we can grow our own food when the big one hits. But a couple things I wanted to mention was that we got some relative unknown actors here. Julianne Nicholson. Right. She's on Law and Order: Criminal Intent. Might not quite recognize her, though, because she's got one of those, I'm a cop, I'm a female cop, so I have to have a haircut where I look like a boy or something. But she still looks good. And then there's Justin Kirk, who was, dude, if you've ever seen Angels in America, this HBO miniseries, try picking that up at Blockbuster sometimes, because it's pretty awesome. And he was, I don't believe it, he's a guy who's like dying of AIDS, and he's funny. I can't explain it, but
boy, that sounds like a real gut buster.
This angel appears to him. That's the funny part,
Okay.
and he like freaks out, Anyway, but Emma Thompson's the angel, but he's also on this show called Weeds, and he's pretty. That's a really good show too, and he's hilarious on that. So yeah, it's weird because I've seen him in comedies, and I've seen her in the Law and Order type stuff, but here they're in this very sobering, but also times I would say there is a lot of sad stuff in it. The one thing I like is that there's it has its ups and downs. Sometimes in the relationship they really are, it's just sort of they're making decisions, and some of it's positive, some of it's not so positive. And I like the idea that I wasn't quite sure where this is going, because there's the gloomy side of it, but there's also, you see there's a potential that, they could resolve things, and you just don't know which way it's going to go. And we're not going to reveal how it all ends up. So but we are going to show another clip.
Okay.
And this one does kind of get to the crux of it sort of shows that they're articulating that, in fact, it ends with the line, "We have problems." And it sort of, another thing I like about this movie is that it has, in addition to you saw the problem with his brother, but just how parents and friends and that kind of thing have an effect on the relationship. So in this clip, we have them sort of running into some problems and talking them out.
Hold on, Mom. What's the matter?
I wanted to spend time with you.
I thought you were talking to your dad.
I hung up so I could spend time with you.
You didn't have to do that.
Yes, I did. I wanted to talk to you.
Well, I don't want to listen to you. I want you to listen to me. Mommy, can I call you right back? Mom? Mom? Well, hallelujah. I have your attention for a change. There is so much you can learn about relationships if you keep your ears open and your mouth closed. I thought you were a listener at first. How else could you make up those stupid stories of yours on the spot? But that's your work, isn't it? I should have known that you were a talker and not a listener. Right off the bat. There are so many interesting people in your life, but you never listen to them. Talk to your dad. Call your dad back. He can teach you so much. Did you even ask him about his elder hostel trip to Brazil when he and Betty came back? No. What have you ever asked him about? Did you know he was awarded a Purple Heart?
Yes.
Do you know where he was wounded?
France.
In his thigh. Call my mom. She'll talk to you. She would love to talk to you. And she'll listen to what you have to tell her. Charm her. You want to charm me? Well, I come with a lot of baggage, buddy. And you're going to have to lug your woman's baggage around for her, and you're going to have to not mind doing it. You hang up on your dad? The closest relative you have left? To talk to me? To talk to me about what? You keep saying that you and I are family. And if you're right that you and I actually are family, then we need family therapy. Because everything's gonna be okay, honey. Because I love you. But we have problems. Speak.
Looks like trouble in not paradise.
Right.
Yeah. I was telling Skyler, that I like this. It's really realistic and all that. He's like, He didn't. He thought that was like the Hollywood's warped view of how relationships are so difficult. And that kind
I
of
don't
thing.
think there are.
I think, dude, come on. You telling me you're living in a,
There are arguments over dogs and whether to have dogs or cats.
Right.
And
they didn't do the toothpaste, but that was about the only thing.
Yeah, do you squeeze it at the end or do you squeeze it at the top? That type of argument. But and then whether to have children and whether to wait and build up savings and
the minutia.
Yes.
And that's what part 2 could be. They could have kids. Anyway.
Part 2. Okay.
So hey, one thing I wanted to bring up though, since we're in these.
Well, shouldn't we award the?
No, I'll do that at the end here.
Okay.
But yeah, we're in these dire financial times here, right? Maybe.
Dire.
Maybe not dire, But so I just thought it was funny that the Stewart guy had, he said he saved something like $50 a week for I don't know how many years, 20, 25 years, and he said he put it all in a simple savings account.
Compound interest is compound interest. Actually, if you wait long enough, there's exponential growth. You can have a whole lot. But he did that because he started saving when he was very young, and he had quite a lot accumulated.
Yeah, but in a simple savings account, you.
Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes. Compound. It's called the miracle of compound savings.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, because it's exponential growth. It grows at a fast rate, sort of like our population explosion.
Right.
In 1830, there were 1 billion people on the planet. Now in 4 years, we're going to be hitting 7 billion.
But still, if he had done something like invested in like the stock market, and if he'd made a smart choice, he would have had a lot more money in theory, right?
In theory, this morning on the internet, I heard that somebody said if you had invested $1,000 in Delta Airlines, you would have 49. You would have 250 if you put it into Fannie Mae, which is. Yeah. But if you'd have bought $1,000 worth of beer and drank it and recycled it, you would have gotten $200 and some dollars, $219 in cans from recycling. So it's
I love how they always break it down to stuff like us dummies can understand. Like when they had the $700 billion thing proposed, they said something like, "That's the equivalent of having every American having 2,000 apple pies from apple turnovers from McDonald's." I'm like, what? Yeah. So I guess I just thought that was funny because that's what I do. Mine's into just simple saving, simple checking, whatever. And I just wondered if there's
savings. It used to be give 2 or 3%, and there was times where savings gave a lot. Now, if it's 0.2%, that's not a whole lot. So.
Yeah, not a lot. Well, anyway, let's go on to a more cheery.
You want to do the popcorn?
Oh yeah, sorry. Glad you reminded me. Yeah, we've been slipping on this, folks. But we have a popcorn award system on this show that we shouldn't neglect.
Kernels of popcorn.
Kernels of popcorn.
Yes.
Are you going to give your kernel?
I'm going to take a slicer out and give it a half.
Well, you actually have to tear one in half then.
Yeah, since I don't think 0 would be appropriate or something, so
throw it at the that's right. And I'm going to give it 2 and a half. I should have just taken your other half.
Yeah, well, here.
Oh well.
No, well, I'll eat it.
All right. Now that we have popcorn littered on the floor, let's do
now
it.
the other quote unquote chick flick is The Lake House, and unlike the last one, which was painfully realistic, I would argue, this you have to suspend realism because there's a time warp. It turns out that the hero and the heroine, the man and the woman, the lover and the two lovers, meet, but he lives in 2004 and she lives in 2006. And how they get together is through a mailbox and through a dog named Jack. And it turns out they find out that they have they own the same dog, but they live in different times. And yet they're writing each other back and forth. So it's really a romance in the classic sense of the 1930s types of romance, where actually, unlike the last movie where there's full frontal nudity on both sides and just and nothing glamorous about it, the big romantic scene is kisses, and basically a romantic kiss or two, and it's it is romanced by letter, long-distance relationship, and it turns out long-time relationship because there's a 2-year gap, and they get to know each other, and it's very romantic in that sense.
Okay. Well, what's the first clip we're going to check out?
Well, we're going to kind of see how they actually discover how they're in different times, and in either the first or second clip, I can't remember exactly which, we will see Jack, who is the one, and that's the dog, and the irony is Jack is a female, but they named it Jack, and Jack is the one that understands what is going on, but of course Jack can't talk. Jack is pretty smart, almost Lassie smart, but Jack can't talk, so there's the dilemma.
It's pretty rare that you find a dog that understands the intricacies of time travel through a mailbox, but I guess it's
right. That's why I said suspend reality. But that's
Yeah.
I mean, there are some old time movies. You take a Cary Grant movie with named Topper, and they're a rich couple that wrecks itself, and they become ghosts, and they haunt and help a henpecked banker. So there are things like that.
That's right. There's all
and
kinds
it's a
of
wonderful
crazy
life.
stuff. Right.
There's an angel that comes and tries to save Jimmy Stewart. So it's that. It's
so time traveling mailbox is about
right.
equal.
Right.
Let's take a look at our first clip for this.
Dear new tenant, welcome to your new home. As a previous tenant, let me say, I hope you'll like living here as much as I did. I filed a change of address with the post office, but you know what a crapshoot that can be, so if anything slips through, would you please do me a favor and forward my mail? I'd appreciate it. My new address is below. Thanks in advance. P.S.
Sorry about the paw prints by the front door. They were there when I moved in. Same with the box in the attic.
Paw prints? What the hell is she talking about?
Okay, well, she says sorry for the paw prints, and then she criticizes him for this is the wrong date. And he's going, what in the world? What do you mean the wrong date? And so they're just beginning to realize that they're in 2 different years and how bizarre it is, but they're writing each other. At first, the only reason that she wrote was, I've been here, this is a nice place, but could you please forward my mail because getting your mail forward is a crapshoot, so in case there's something. So, I mean, that's the only reason that she originally wrote. And then he writes, well, yeah, but certainly, but this doesn't make sense or that doesn't make sense.
Well, speaking of something that doesn't make sense, the one thing I found a little bit confusing, or at least I had to backtrack to try to figure it out in the movie, and again, we haven't really got it. We'll see how they begin to realize, yes, this is real and all this stuff, but she leaves the place, sends the forwarding address thing, and it goes back in time to where he is. But then they keep sending stuff after she's left. I mean, she keeps sending stuff. So what is the deal? Like, she's going and visiting this place, even though she doesn't live there anymore. And I guess nobody lives there anymore because they don't mind people just putting the stuff in their mailbox or whatever. I mean, it must be abandoned or
maybe
something.
She's just moving to Chicago and it hasn't been rented out yet.
It must be that it hasn't yet. Maybe there's a line somewhere in the movie, but
as far as reality and covering all the bases, if you're looking, if plots, if whole plots bother you, this is not your movie. But I think overall, it covers itself. There are other things that are really good about this movie.
And I think, again, I guess it's nitpicking, but I'm like, so every time she wants to send this guy a letter, she drives out to the country and mail something. But they establish in the movie that it's a place that she goes to find comfort. So probably it is a weekend thing that she. And at some point in the movie, they don't always show her hanging out at the mailbox. They find ways to break up the whole. They're clearly sending each other letters, and they're doing that on the audio. But you're seeing them in different situations, not just hanging around by the mailbox or something. So, but I would. And the other thing, just frankly, it's my little weird quirk of from watching fantasy movies or whatever. It's like, I always like just some reason why this goofy thing is happening. Like on X-Files, the whole reason Scully is there is to explain how, the whole reason Mulder's there because his ideas are usually true, but they usually explain, they just throw something at you, oh yeah, you established a psychic connection because you obsessed about the guy so much or something, or, right,
And then Scully explains the science of it.
Mulder, that is science fiction.
Right. What is the reality? Right. But there's plenty of in X-Files, there's plenty of holes and
there's holes. I'm just saying,
there are books written out.
I'm just saying it's very unusual to find a movie where they just go, hey, it's a time traveling mailbox, deal with it. There's no reason for it.
Right.
But anyway, what else did you set up the next clip or?
Well, in this one, there's more of these correspondences back and forth, but this time, at least the one thing you get to see is Jack, and Jack, the dog, is the one thread other than the mailbox that keeps them, that links them, and they figure out that they have the same dog.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a period of discovery, but in between the period of discovery, they actually get to know each other. And instead of, it's like a date, but instead of a date where they end up in the sack in the first in the first 6 hours of it, they find out what their favorite things are, and they're both romantics. She liked the living in the country and the smell of flowers before they bloom or something like that. And he is an architect and appreciates the way things are presented and how houses are built and the nature behind it, and that you should build a house to conform to nature. And there are issues with his father and a lot of relationships like that. So they're both sensitive people. And those letters are a great vehicle, even though maybe they don't, it doesn't make sense to have a romance. It's like many dates where you're waiting for the first kiss. Now you referred to X-Files.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the 9th or 10th season where they ever kissed. Well, there were a few that was by accident, or they went back in time and there was somebody else.
It was a dream. It was an alternate reality.
Right, or they went to the Bermuda Triangle, and which is one of the best episodes ever. And Scully isn't Scully; she's somebody else.
Right.
And he is somebody else.
Right.
And so he says, "Oh, what the heck? I'll madly kiss you." But it wasn't for real ever until the very end.
Yeah, while we're on the subject of the X-Files, a little digression here, but you and I are like one of the probably 5 people who went to see X-Files at the theater.
And unfortunately, it was a mediocre episode, and that's a shame because there's so much potential there. Of course, I'm still angry that they killed the lone gunman because they were some of the you talk about comedy, but they tried to overdo it instead of just letting them be them. And
the one actual selling point of the movie, though, is that you finally, they're in bed together, they're having a relationship, they're apparently, and at the end, they're probably going to go away together. And so they kind of made a chick flick out of the X-Files. But if you stay through the end of the credits, when you rent it on DVD or whatever, they actually show them, rowing in a boat together somewhere. So
is that out in a DVD?
Not yet.
Okay.
Anyway, let's take a look at our next clip.
Yes.
Dear Ms. Forster, I got your note, and I'm afraid there must be some kind of misunderstanding. As far as I know, the lake house has been empty for several years. Maybe your note was intended for the Sandberg house down the shore.
Since no one has lived in this house for years. But I'm curious about the paw prints. Dear Mr. Weiler, I'm very familiar with the Sandberg cottage, and I can guarantee I never lived there. I'm old-fashioned, but I don't think a cottage should be over 6,000 square feet. So, let me try again. I used to live at the lake house. Then I moved. Now I live at 1620 North Racine in Chicago. I'd appreciate it if you would forward my mail if you get any. Oh, by the way, it's 2006. Has been all year, ask anyone.
2006. What does it mean? 2006.
Well, in this one, they further have advanced and figured out that definitely in 2 different years, and that they might have the same dog, and so they're beginning to finally figure it out. And yet, you know, later on in the film, there are many clips I could have taken from this. His brother, you know, says, you know, why don't you find some real flesh and blood girl, as one of her friends says the same thing to him, to her, about finding a real flesh and blood guy. But he said, while it lasted, it was the most real thing he ever had. So they're both very romantic, Jane Austen type characters, but he's you know, underneath the sink doing, you know, trying to do some repairs, and he's going, what in the world is going on?
And I don't want to give away too much, but you realize they're going to get together at some point. And since she can't actually crawl inside the mailbox and transport herself back to 2004, I mean, you realize, okay, he's talking to her in 2004, but he actually still is around in 2006. So they try to work out. There's interesting things where it's like, you know, she says, they have some, she said, I miss having a tree or something, and he plants a tree.
I mean, how romantic. And he
and
also,
then, a couple years
another
later,
thing he does is he sends her a map and takes her on a walk around Chicago, because by then she's living in Chicago. And of all the great architecture, and he's really, he's an artist type, appreciative of art and in the form of architecture and great homes and buildings. And he takes her on a wonderful walk, and says they wish they could walk together, and they even puts up in graffiti, you know, Kate, I wish we could have done this together. I mean, it is
graffiti probably wouldn't stick
around. It
It
is probably for hopeless romantics, but what the heck?
No, it is.
Now, and to really put the icing on the cake to show that it's for hopeless romantics, what they do is something that you see in Sleepless in Seattle. You've got a scene from a Cary Grant film. This is the scene that is going to come up. In the Sleepless in Seattle, it was an affair to remember, and they were looking at you know, whether he should stay with her or not. Cary Grant, and by the way, one reason I like this and picked this particular scene is I tried to buy for my wife for her birthday 5 old Cary Grant films, because we both like old films, and I went to Best Buy and Borders, and I asked the clerks, you know, could you Google or type in and try to find if you had Cary Grant films. They had no clue who Cary Grant was. So, you know, you talk about making me feel old. Now, let's say less than a 20-year-old person at Borders said, "Oh, sure, I know who Cary Grant is." But the other ones, Cary who or Gary somebody, or how do you spell that? Grand or.
So you could bring up stuff in the 80s, and my students wouldn't know what some of that.
But twice in this film, they show a scene between Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman, who, from an Alfred Hitchcock movie called Notorious, which was just an excellent film. It's not what you would call a chick flick. It's well, how can you call an Alfred Hitchcock film a chick flick?
I don't think he ever made it.
But there is romance in it, but it's a spy thriller and set in World War II, and one of my favorite Cary Grant movies. But both times they're watching the same scene. She watches it later, so that film sort of does the same thing that Sleepless in Seattle does, and they picked a different film other than, I saw it criticized because they didn't pick An Affair to Remember as well, but why not pick another one? And I think it really works.
It's sort of like it gives again, it's like you're saying, it's sort of a tip-off to the viewer that this is a bit of a not quite a homage, but it's sort of like it's in the vein of those type of classic romances.
And I think this could stand up to any of the ones in the 30s. And really make it. And I think there were some just excellent films where writing had to be a lot of it. And yes, some of it's predictable, but you know, there were some great films certainly during that time, and particularly a lot of Cary Grant films, among others. And Ingrid Bergman was quite a heroine as well. So
I'm sure
she was in Casablanca, by the way. And if you haven't seen Casablanca, you should. We even have that at our college. You could go and get it, rent it for free, and that should be something that is must. Yeah. Even my son has seen it. He doesn't black
Even
and white.
I've seen Casablanca.
Yes.
I will say I might take some flack for this, but I think Keanu and Sandra Bullock kind of, like you said. I mean, I think these movies are usually made by the two leads and how good they pull off the material. And a lot of people dog Keanu because I don't know, they think of the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure days and think he's this like dumb surfer dude or something. But I think he's got the pretty boy looks, and he's got a certain charisma. And
there have been several movies I like. I also like him in The Replacements in the football show. I've seen that's one I'll see several times as well. So,
well, I guess we should get to our
let's get to our clip.
Tell me about the future. What's it like in the year 2006?
I'm afraid the world's pretty much the same. Of course, we all dress in shiny metal jumpsuits and drive flying cars, and no one talks anymore because we can read each other's minds. But the truth is, man, from the past, not much has really changed in 2006. Speaking of the past, though, I've been thinking about the paw prints. How is that possible?
Well, I think we have the same dog.
Oh yeah? What's yours like? According to the vet, mine's 8 years old in my time, 6 in yours. She's skinny, has sad eyes, snores, and sleeps like a person. I don't know why, but I call her Jack.
Hello, Jack.
Hey, what are you doing? You're supposed to be asleep.
Is she gonna marry him?
What do you think?
I don't know. He's kinda old.
Okay, he's not that old.
My mom's last boyfriend was bald. He was nice, but my mom didn't marry him.
No?
There's always something better coming around the corner. That's what she says. Maybe that's what that lady should do. Wait for something better to come around the corner.
Maybe. But if she's not careful, she could spend her whole life waiting.
You want me to bring anything back with me?
What about a nice glass of wine to celebrate?
One of the themes in this is, one of the questions is, will you wait too long to commit, and are you doing it at the right time, timing, and in fact, picking Notorious in that scene, that was central to that theme, not, should you make the commitment then, and Cary Grant almost blows it, and so does Ingrid Bergman, and this is true in theirs, because she's wondering, well, should I just settle for something, and, I need to settle down with somebody, and maybe I'll go back to my old boyfriend, and so that is something that is in there. But when the little girl asks, maybe she should just wait. Another man will come along. They're sort of like buses. I've heard the same thing said for women. People make that reference, and so Sandra Bullock says, well, maybe she waits too long, and so that's part of the theme, and that scene fits in very well with the movie.
And of course, in any kind of movie like this, again, the one thing I think it's like similar to Flannel Pajamas is that, okay, will they, won't they? Will they get together, or will they stay together? That kind of thing. This one is more like, will they ever get together? But to begin with, but I won't say how. But at some point, they create a reason for her to seriously consider her going to the old boyfriend, somebody who's safe, somebody who, he loves her, and she had initially broken up with him, but so she knows she can get him back, and he actually moves to Chicago, so clearly he still wants to be with her, the old boyfriend. But I like it because, like I said, even though it's, I say it's a realistic reason for her to go back, even though it involves a time-traveling mailbox, but there's some reason, and you see some of these romantic comedies, and it's just like, they split up for the stupidest reasons. And again, I know it happens in real life, but it's usually just somebody said one wrong thing, and the movie, you feel like the scriptwriter's going, oh, okay, I have to have them break up at this point in the movie, or else the movie's going to be over. And then I can get them back together a half hour later, and then they can almost break up again. So it just seems very arbitrary sometimes. But. And
they do use an old device, and then there are some cliches in it.
Yeah.
And one of them is that both of their boyfriends and their other love interests are certainly not suited for them, and you can tell that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So.
One other thing I wanted to bring up that stretches credulity in the movie.
Okay.
Maybe even more than the time-traveling mailbox is that Keanu wears a turtleneck and he still looks fine.
Okay.
In fact, I had a dream about Keanu. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Well, I guess we wrapped it up there.
Well, do we need to throw the popcorn?
Oh, yeah. The ceremonial throwing of the popcorn.
What is your verdict?
On this one, I think actually the weird thing is I liked it about the same level as I like my flannel pajamas. So I'm going for the old 2.5. And do you need to borrow a half on this one?
No. Yeah, I will.
Okay. Here you go.
I will, because there's a bit of total unreality and that might bother people. I'll give it 3.5. So 1, 2, 3, and then there's Tim's half.
All right. Cool. All right, folks. Well, can't all be fun and games here. We do have to inform the public. So when we come back, we're going to give you some important information on how to have a garden, how to avoid or why you should avoid drunk driving, and how to deal with a radiation blast. Be right back.
All right.
Very affordable. They have a convenient tutoring schedule that works around my schedule.
Jefferson College is very challenging.
They have a diverse campus.
This is the very beginning of the second part of my life, and I have a new sense of direction and a new passion in my life.
They are committed with my success.
The quality of education here, I would give it a 10. I'm Kimberly Clark.
I'm Shayna Payton.
I'm Jose Soloria.
I'm Rachel Schrage.
I'm Della Selman.
I'm Nick Schaefer.
I'm Stacy Self, and I discovered my future at Jefferson College.
Oh, hey, folks. Hey, come on. We got to get back to work here.
Oh,
welcome back to Popcorn.
Reading up on the economy.
Dude, that'll depress you.
Yeah. Well, another pop culture. These folks, not going to be around much longer. Newspapers, they're dying.
Yeah. Goodbye, paper.
I do appreciate that Jeffco gives us free papers, though. Helps
I do
keep
like
us informed.
that.
Yeah,
exactly,
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've kind of jumped the gun with this whole internet thing, people.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to stick around.
Or even if it was going to stick, maybe we should try to keep it from sticking around, because if it's going to phase out like paper and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking, this is apropos of nothing, but I was thinking the other day, if they really take the internet to its ultimate extremes and they get everybody wired and that kind of thing, what are we actually going to leave our house for anymore? You can order everything, every kind of product online.
Mm-hmm. Get your groceries now.
Get your groceries. I only had a couple things I can think of where you have to leave the house. You can't, obviously nobody leaves the house for CDs except me, that kind of thing.
Your tapes, actually.
Tapes and CDs,
Cassettes.
right? But okay, there's 3 things. You have to go to a barber, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to come to your house and start cutting your hair.
You can buy one of those Flobies, those vacuums, and just cut it yourself.
Maybe in the future we won't care about our haircuts and we'll just put bowls over our head. Okay, but probably you're going to have to go to the barber or go to my dad's house in my case. Then the next thing would be you're going to have to go to the doctor. They don't make house calls anymore.
Not anymore.
And then probably the mechanic. I can't unless you know how to do that stuff yourself. Those are the 3 things we're going to be leaving the house for, people. No more entertainment, no more discos. We're just going to stay at home, Yeah, discos. I go to those all.
Discos, yeah. What?
Disco stew.
This guy's reading tapes and going to discos. Reading books on tape. Do you have a phonograph at home?
I used to.
In this segment, we are to the near end of the show. We got a couple of those public service announcements to talk about. But first, what we forgot to talk about like 5 hours ago in the intro was the fall TV season started up.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, is there anything out there real groundbreaking you've heard of that's supposedly good?
No.
Not a great premiere
I've
season.
heard of stuff, I've heard of some stuff that's supposedly good, and then I watched it, and it was definitely not good. So they're lying to you. The best example of this most hailed, critical, blah, blah, blah show of the season is called Fringe.
I did see the premiere to that.
Ugh.
Yeah, didn't really catch my interest too much. I put a season pass on the DVR. Don't know if I'm going to be watching any of those.
Believe me, I was ready to go for at least the first season thinking, come on, it's J.J. Abrams. He's done, I mean, we watch Lost.
Love
we
Lost.
like Lost. So, surely he's not going to just throw some, I mean, I totally realized it was like total ripoff of X-Files.
Yeah.
And I was fine with that because X-Files isn't on the air anymore. Where am I going to get my X-Files fix? You know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, first of all, there's just nothing aside from that initial like 2 minutes of that first episode where like people's jaws are falling off or something from that disease. There hasn't been anything really that freaky on the show, you know.
Really, and see, that's the first one I saw with the airborne virus or whatever it was in that plane.
Right, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, a little freaky. It was.
A little freaky when your jaw starts falling. But then, like the big part of the second half is somebody gets hit with the disease and their skin starts going like kind of like translucent or whatever, and you're kind of going, oh, that's cool, but not scary. I mean, it's scary for him.
Yeah.
But I mean, remember, X-Files had like guys that ate your liver and stuff like that. They had some freaky weirdos on that show.
They did.
And they had the aliens too. So they keep referring to something on Fringe called the pattern. Ooh, scary. You mean there's something? It's a pattern. It's like crop circles. Look out. You know. But what else is there? Is there anything brand new?
Well, I've heard good things, and I haven't seen it yet, of Sons of Anarchy. It's on FX.
Yeah.
It's like a biker show. It's got the guy who played Hellboy as one of the lead roles. I forget his name.
Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman. Very good actor. I haven't seen it, but it seems like a lot, obviously, with cable, satellite, network TV isn't what it used to be. It doesn't get the audiences it used to. It doesn't have the attention all directed toward these new shows. There are still some great shows on network TV, like The Office, which we've talked about. I thought that season premiere was pretty good, but I do want to check out Sons of Anarchy on FX.
Well, I can give you the report on that one.
Okay.
Watchable. Yeah, it's definitely watchable. It's still a question of, okay, but am I going to keep watching a show about bikers? I mean, there's just some certain subjects you're like, am I really interested in this? But I will say, yeah, it just has the hallmarks of something that really could last, and it's definitely, like I wanted to turn, at first I was like, I don't want to keep watching this, but something kept bringing me back. Maybe because I was totally bored. But,
so you do have FX?
Oh yeah, I have FX. I have this really crappy limited cable package, and I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to get
I'm
FX.
surprised FX is on that, to be honest.
I think when they told me initially, I asked them if it had FX, and they said no, and then when the guy hooked it up, it did have FX, so dude, if you're watching, don't turn off my FX, because that's like my lifeline. I mean, and FX is really, as far as HBO used to be awesome, but I'd say Showtime has got the best sort of premium cable stuff with Dexter and Weeds and stuff like that. But if you're going to network stuff or basic cable, FX is really the best. I mean,
and this is a perfect segue because the other show I wanted to talk about was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, dude,
Do you watch it?
I saw the premiere. And that show is out there, man.
It is out there. By this is, I guess, the 4th season. So if you haven't watched the first 3, and it's a big show about character development, obviously, and kind of like Seinfeld, except to a greater degree. These people are dirtbags. To be quite honest, I mean, there was some likable stuff about the characters from Seinfeld, but really they were kind of self-centered dirtbags when it all came down to it.
Right.
Well, these guys and the girl on It's Always Sunny are just completely self-absorbed dirtbags, but. It's funny because, I mean, just because
it's true.
Well, I don't know anyone personally who's that bad, but I'm sure they're out there. But, I mean, it's a great show. Again, it's got some adult content, adult language, even for basic cable.
Yeah, I'm just
but
amazed.
You might want to go out and rent the first season or two and watch them because things like the Green Man. Did you see that where he dresses up in the?
I saw like part of that on TV.
Yeah, well, that's his. Like one of the characters does this thing he thinks is really cool, where he puts this green spandex outfit all over his whole body and dances around. And everyone else tells him how lame it is, but he just refuses to hear that, and he thinks it's so great. But I don't know. I think it's one of the best shows out there right now on TV. It's funny and.
Certainly edgy.
I don't know. I guess the whole thing about it is it probably makes the viewer, i.e. me, feel a little bit better about your own life when you see these dirtbags on there. And, it doesn't make you feel as bad about yourself when you act like a dirtbag, right?
That's right. That's right. Well, I got to say, they hooked me into Patty, somebody I work with was telling me that to watch that show forever, and I never did. But they hooked me with their little promos where they did a parody of LL Cool J's Going Back to Cali, but they had Going Back to Philly.
I don't think I ever saw
that.
Those,
It's like going back to Philly, Fairly. And so, yeah, I mean, it was really wacky.
Oh, was that the one with
cool.
the real quick edits?
Yeah.
Where, like, a split second, couple frames, and it just shows all of them.
Right, like weird little
positions.
scenes. And DeVito's, like, wearing that funky, like, hip-hop type hat. Like,
yeah, no, at first he wasn't on it. The first season, he was not on it. So bringing him in added a lot, too, because I think he helped out a little bit with the writing and producing. And as we all know, he's hilarious.
He's good.
And I digress. I saw him
Funny
at
guy.
the Coachella Music Festival a few years ago. He's like
really
this tall. He's so short. He goes and just dances in the crowd there when people taking pictures of him. He seemed like a real nice guy. I didn't go up to him because I always feel weird going up to celebrities and be like, hey, I know you. I don't.
Yeah, this is kind of, again, off the subject, and it's probably, I shouldn't reveal this, but one time I had a dream where I met Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I don't know what that says about me, but I was like, and I did exactly what you're saying. All I did was go up to him like, you guys rule. I don't even know I liked him that much. Is that what my subconscious is telling me? But yeah, what can you really say? I mean, if I met somebody like Bill Maher, I guess. But again, all I'd be saying is like, you ruled it. I mean, I like your show. I mean, what else is there to say to celebrities? I guess I could say, what do you think of something? And I don't know. So we're just not going to talk to celebrities. That's our approach, right?
Yeah, right. Just,
even if we see them.
Just look at them and
worship from afar.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about some people we're not going to worship because they were probably forgotten forever after they did their Perlinger film debut.
Yeah.
What's the first film we're looking at?
Well, the first one is called The Bottle and the Throttle. It's a PSA against drunken driving. And I know you and I both had a discussion here. We didn't want anyone to think that we were making fun of drunken driving. It's a terrible thing, obviously. But the thing, showing some of these, it's just, again, as I mentioned before, the disconnect between the culture, I think, now and back then is interesting to look at. And in this one in particular, the disconnect between what the law is now and obviously what it was back then.
Well, that's the funny thing. What they were actually talking about in this video, I've heard an announcement or commercial on TV about this, or on the radio, where they use the phrase buzz driving now, where they say you might not be legally drunk, but buzz driving. Well, no, they say buzz driving is drunk driving. But here they're literally talking about like he's buzzed, but he's not technically drunk or not legally drunk.
Right. But when they say he's, it's like,
but
Johnny, you're at, 0.15% blood alcohol. They can't get you on drunk driving. Really? I mean, I'm glad I wasn't driving around in the 50s.
0.15 was the legal limit back then, but he's at
he was right.
He's at 0.08 or something. And that is the legal limit nowadays. Right. But so, yeah, things have changed. But it is interesting that they were progressive enough to sort of say, because I assume back then, I've heard of, I told somebody about this video and they were like, oh man, back in the day, like you could be like swerving all over the road sometimes, and they'd let you off with a warning.
I've heard the same thing, right?
Yeah. So maybe I heard that from you. Not from you personally doing it, but yeah, like we say, folks, we're not goofing on the whole idea of because I know of somebody who's got hit by a drunk driver and really messed her up for a while anyway. So,
but it's interesting to take a look at how things were portrayed back then. So.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. The Bottle and the Throttle.
Oh, yeah.
It can't happen to me. That's what you said, wasn't it, Bill? But it can and just did, and you're not quite sure why. Let's see if we can find out. Not too many minutes ago, that young woman and her child were happy and healthy. Now their young bodies are crushed and racked with pain. Maybe they'll live and maybe they'll die. But one thing's sure, the next few minutes, hours, or maybe days, their lives will hang in the balance. And you'll have to live out those minutes, hours, and days knowing you were responsible. The police will measure out the skid marks, determine where you applied the brakes, give you a sobriety test, and it will all go into a report that will be reviewed in court. Maybe you'll be found guilty, maybe you won't. But you'll never outlive the memory of waiting to find out if the mother and daughter will live or die. Then the police are at you with questions. Where had you been? Had you been drinking? Would you submit to a sobriety test? Sure, why not? After all, you'd only had a few
This is a tough situation, but at least you've got what looks like to me like the Coast Guard and the California Highway Patrol working on it, on the case. Yeah, and the Ghostbusters, right?
Fine. But what you didn't know was that it only takes a few beers to take the keen edge off your driving performance and slow your reaction time. You see, alcohol is not a stimulant. It's a sedative, a depressant. Oh, sure, the first few drinks make you feel more alive and responsive, but actually, as the alcohol enters the bloodstream, it slows down normal operation of the heart and nerve centers and depresses the inhibitory mechanisms of the brain. It removes inhibitions and social restraints. This is what gives us the feeling of stimulation. You have more assurance,
Bill, this
but
is no
less
time to be
self-control.
doing
And this is when
balloon
the danger
animals.
begins. You get a Superman complex behind the wheel at the very time when your driving skill and mental outlook have been seriously damaged. When ethyl alcohol, which is the foundation of all liquor, enters the circulatory system through the stomach, it's oxidized by the liver and turned into heat energy in the form of calories. Unfortunately, the liver can only process about 3/8 of an ounce of alcohol per hour. That's about the amount in 3/4 of a shot glass of whiskey or a short beer. When more alcohol is taken, the liver is unable to process it, and it passes into the bloodstream and is carried to all parts of the body. As the percentage of alcohol begins to build up in the bloodstream, the first part of your nervous system to be affected is your judgment center, located in the frontal lobe of the brain. This is the area of the brain that determines right from wrong. The alcohol works as an anesthetic, and we adopt a "I don't care" or "sure I can make it" attitude. We contemplate stupid things like passing on a curve or a hill. We become easily exasperated by the driver we feel isn't going fast enough, and we take chances we wouldn't ordinarily take to pass him. True enough, we're not drunk. At least not legally drunk. By that we mean our blood alcohol content is still below the 0.15% considered by law to be legally intoxicated. But those few beers we had can reduce our driving ability as much as 25 to 40%. A report by the American Medical Association clearly showed that 2 shots of 100 proof whiskey or 2 12-ounce bottles of beer can inject a dangerous amount of alcohol into our system if we're driving. And the worst part is that we probably aren't aware of it. Even an hour after having a couple of beers, our reaction time to light signals can be reduced as much as 6%. In another test, it was shown that after a 3-ounce drink, it took as much as 12 seconds for a person to regain his normal sight after being blinded by the lights of an oncoming car. At 60 miles an hour, that would be over 1,000 feet, or 1/5 of a mile of blind driving. Alcohol sometimes causes visual distortion, too. Things become blurred and indistinct. Another problem which often goes unnoticed by the driver but is no less dangerous is tunnel vision. Tunnel vision is a phenomena where your field of vision becomes increasingly narrow. That is, your periphery or side vision is decreased. This makes you vulnerable to cross traffic and is often the cause of sideswipe or intersection accidents. The National Safety Council says that 2 normal cocktails or 4 beers can reduce visual acuity as much as wearing dark glasses at night. Now, only a fool would drive at night wearing dark glasses, but nobody thinks much about driving after 4 beers. The effect of alcohol on vision is particularly serious because 90% of the driving decisions we make are based on how well we see. So if you must drive, don't drink. If you do drink and must drive, wait. Let the effects of the alcohol wear off. A good rule of thumb, wait 1 hour for each bottle of beer or all you take, the longer you should wait until it is safe to drive. Because the danger of having an accident increases with the amount of alcohol in your system. For instance, under identical driving conditions, a person with 0.05% alcohol in his blood, that's about 2 drinks or a few beers, is twice as likely to have an accident as a person with no alcohol in his blood. With 0.10%, 3 to 6 drinks or a couple of quarts of beer, the chances are 3 times as great. And when the blood alcohol has reached 0.15%, which is the legal limit, the chances are 10 times as great. A common misapprehension of the drinking driver is that when he first drinks, that is during the absorption period as it's sometimes referred to, the individual readily feels the effects of the alcohol. But during the wearing off period, he becomes less aware of these effects and deludes himself into thinking he is sober. But he is falsely comparing his maximum feeling of intoxication with his beginning feeling of sobriety. He may be far from sober and is only making a dangerous comparison.
Oh, way to let him walk out, barkeep.
Yeah.
Today your bar would get sued and shut down.
It can't happen to us, but it can and does in ever-increasing numbers each year. And it isn't until we have an accident that we seriously ask ourselves why we had that extra drink. We all find excuses for drinking. Bills weren't so different from the rest. A need to belong, a desire to go along with the group, try something new. It may start innocently enough, a few beers with the gang. It is a social custom of our time. But today that social custom is invading our society at a younger age than ever before. The few drinks that the social drinker may take don't seem to present a serious danger. But the trouble with drinking and driving is that it is always too late when the emergency arises and our reactions are too slow to avoid disaster. It is readily agreed by authorities and tests that driving skills are to a degree a matter of habit, built up over long periods of practice. It has also been proven that the latest driving skills mastered are the first to go when under the influence of liquor. Therefore, the older, more experienced driver is less likely to have his skills seriously impaired than the younger, less experienced driver. One must be able to judge speed and distance, follow traffic patterns, make necessary adjustments, and be able to react quickly to emergencies. After a few drinks, the good driver is no longer capable of doing this. He has become a poor driver and is a danger to himself and others. This happened to you, didn't it, Bill? Sure, you passed your sobriety test. It showed you had only 0.08% blood alcohol, about half the legal limit. They can't convict you on drunk driving, can they? But you'll always have to face the fact that those beach party beers were a contributing factor in your accident. If you hadn't had them, you might have hit the brake pedal a second or two earlier. Those skid marks on the asphalt would have stopped on the right side, not the wrong side of that young woman and her daughter. The report just came through. The little girl died on the way to the hospital, and the mother will probably never walk again. No matter how your trial comes out, you'll always have to live with those facts, won't you, Bill? A child dead, a mother crippled. Not a pleasant future to face at the age of 18.
Boy, how things have changed.
Oh, Bill.
It really was, even though it was a serious PSA, obviously, it just seems obviously not as serious back then as it is today. Like, after, the guy hits a mother and her child, and he's not handcuffed. The cop's just walking around with his arm on his, or his hand on his elbow, things like that. The sobriety test with the balloon, you were going to comment on that. That was a little odd.
Yeah, I just, I don't know if that was like, I just wondered what they actually did with the balloon once he blows it up. I mean, you can't, obviously, what does the cop like smell the balloon?
Do they take it to a lab?
That's alcohol. We're taking him away now. I mean, do they like seal the balloon and go home? I don't know, and I just don't know how that would work exactly. But they had a couple of things I'd never seen before, like what was that thing the cop had at the end there? It's like some kind of like accordion style, thing to take notes on or something. But it's funny, if you're watching old Star Trek, they actually have him like signing some piece of paperwork. Yeah, like in the future, you're still going to be signing, well, got to file my report today. But yeah. The one thing I wondered, I read some reviews of this. There's actually reviews on the Perlinger site, and they were pretty funny. I mean, I got to say, they just kind of, they were making fun of more the style of especially the narrator. The guy's like, it's bad enough the guy might, he's killed somebody and, maimed a little girl and might go to prison, but he has to listen to this condescending, most judgmental narrator ever, so.
Well, and it seemed, too, it wasn't, today's PSAs or campaigns against drunk driving obviously focus more on the, you drink, you drive, you lose. You can lose your license. You can go to prison. I mean, the personal guilt is kind of unsaid. I mean, they don't, because 99% of the people, whether intentional, alcohol involved or not, you kill somebody, you're going to feel bad about it. I mean, I think that pretty much goes without saying. So I found it interesting how that more focused on the personal guilt of it all. And I guess the laws were more lenient back then, obviously, as we'd already discussed, the .08. Well, they're not going to get you on drunk driving. Why not? I mean, there, back then, I guess it was double was the legal limit.
Right. He was, what did they say? Sure, you're only half the legal limit. And he's like, no, he's actually right at the, no, these days. But yeah, they just, over the years, they kept tightening it more and more. But, well, I don't know. Do you think that's because, like you're saying, we just take it for granted that somebody's going to feel guilty if they do something like that? Or do you think we're more callous and we're like, well, we can't make people feel guilty, so let's talk about what's actually how it's going to hamper your life personally.
I think it's the first one. I think it's just we assume that pretty much most people are going to feel guilty about that, so why don't we focus on...
I guess the problem is they tried guilting people into thinking about this for years, which would be, to me, the biggest concern, that I killed somebody or maimed a child. I wouldn't be worried, my first priority in that situation would not be, am I going to lose my license, or what's this going to do my insurance rates?
Yeah, well, maybe the thought is, we can't be 100% certain you're going to feel guilty, so we can guarantee you'll go to prison, lose your license, and not be able to drive. I don't know.
I guess I'd use the shotgun approach and just hit them with everything. You're going to feel guilty, and you're going to lose your license. But I don't know. I think part of the problem today is they just, a lot of times they don't lose their license.
Right. Well, you can get one or two, I think, from what I know, and still get probation.
And then sometimes, again, from somebody I know who was hit by a drunk driver, they have like these blood tests that are so, blood lab work. On CSI they do it and they're done in like 30 seconds. Oh yeah, dude was drunk. But they mail this stuff away, and apparently it takes sometimes more than 6 months for it ever to come back. And the person's, I think, free to drive.
Right.
And keep boozing it up during that time. So.
Because they're not convicted yet.
Yeah.
Should we move to a lighter topic?
A lighter topic. Nuclear holocaust.
Nuclear war. We're really bumming people out today.
We're giving, you're scared about the A-bomb, right? But you didn't know there was something you could actually do about it. I think we've forgotten that. You can protect yourself from a nuclear bomb, people. Live through it. You can just duck.
And cover.
All right.
Duck and cover.
Duck. You can sing a happy little song while you're doing it. Sure, the world around you is a charred ruin, but you'll be safe.
Let's take a look. Bert the Turtle. He's going to teach you how to keep safe in a nuclear attack.
All right.
Dum-dum, beetle-dum-dum, beetle-dum-dum, beetle-dum-dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert. And Bert the Turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and covered, ducked and covered.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
and you
and you
and you. Duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover. This is an official civil defense film produced in cooperation with the Federal Civil Defense Administration and in consultation with the Safety Commission of the National Education Association. Produced by Archer Productions, Incorporated. Hey, Bert, come on out and meet all these nice people, please. Oh, all right. We really can't blame you. You see, Bert is a very, very careful fellow. When there's danger, this is the way he keeps from being hurt. Sometimes it even saves his life.
That's why these children are practicing to duck and cover just as you do in your school. We all know the atomic bomb is very dangerous. Since it may be used against us, we must get ready for it, just as we are ready for many other dangers that are around us all the time. Fire is a danger. It can burn whole buildings if someone is careless. But we are ready for fires. We have a fine fire department to put out the fire, and you have fire drills in your school so you know what to do. Automobiles can be dangerous too. They sometimes cause bad accidents, but we are ready. We have safety rules that car drivers and people who are walking must obey. Now, we must be ready for a new danger, the atomic bomb. First, you have to know what happens when an atomic bomb explodes. You will know when it comes. We hope it never comes, but we must get ready. It looks something like this. There is a bright flash, brighter than the sun, brighter than anything you've ever seen. If you were not ready and did not know what to do, it could hurt you in different ways. It could knock you down hard or throw you against a tree or a wall. It is such a big explosion, it can smash in buildings and knock signboards over and break windows all over town.
The thing knocks a house over on its side, but Bert the turtle doesn't. He's right safe in his shell.
I hope that turtle shell is lead line, Bert,
could burn you worse than a terrible sunburn, especially where you're not covered. Now, you and I don't have shells to crawl into like Bert the turtle, so we have to cover up in our own way. First, you duck, and then you cover. And very tightly, you cover the back of your neck and your face. Duck and cover underneath a table or desk or anything else close by. In Betty's school, they are talking about the atomic bomb, too. Betty is asking her teacher, how can we tell when the atomic bomb may explode? And her teacher is explaining that there are two kinds of attack, with warning and without any warning. We think that most of the time we will be warned before the bomb explodes, so there will be time for us to get into our homes, schools, or some other safe place. Our civil defense workers and our men in uniform will do everything they can to warn us before enemy planes can bring a bomb near us. You may be in your schoolyard playing when the signal comes. That signal means to stop whatever you are doing.
I'm not leaving my jump rope unattended. I can tell you that.
No
I'm
way.
taking it.
No jump rope left behind. Come on.
Come at any time, no matter where you may be. You might be out playing at home when the warning comes. Then be sure to get into the house fast, where your parents have fixed a safe place for you to go. If you are not close to home when you hear the warning, go to the nearest safe cover. Know where you are to go, or ask an older person to help you.